Dear governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, I was raised to believe that you are men of truth and integrity. I appeal to your sense of honor to hear me out. We don't have to be adversaries. All of us have been victimized by an ideology that made glowing promises of deliverance from a harsh world. We all have been indoctrinated while we were young and vulnerable by people we trusted. However, our paths diverged in how we reacted to that regime of indoctrination. As for my part, I chose independence over subservience. As for your part, it's long past time to choose justice over ideology. There is only one honorable course for you to take given the following truths. For decades, the Watchtower claimed that the people who saw 1914 would not die out before Armageddon arrived. Those people are all dead, and Armageddon didn't come. In 1920, the president of the Watchtower proclaimed that millions now living will never die. That was 104 years ago. They're all dead, and Armageddon didn't come. The 1914 teaching is demonstrably false. The millions now living will never die teaching is demonstrably false. These are not little things. They were foundational teachings of the Watchtower. For the better part of the 20th century, countless Jehovah's Witnesses based life-defining decisions on those teachings, including decisions on marriage, education, healthcare, and careers. Based on those teachings, family ties were severed, friendships dissolved, and even lives sacrificed. The rational thing to do when one realizes that one's actions are based on falsehoods and causing deep, lasting harm is to stop performing those actions. Instead, you excused yourselves from the consequences of your teachings. You justified yourselves by claiming you miscalculated. You minimized the gravity of your actions by saying, "We've made adjustments to our understanding." Your attempts to trivialize your deeds by framing them in such pat and dismissive terms is an insult to those you have harmed. The question is no longer, can the Watchtower continue as it is? The question is, should the Watchtower continue at all? The answer to this hinges on a central claim that the Watchtower is Jehovah's Spirit-directed organization on earth. Such a claim should handle a few questions, such as, but not limited to, was Jehovah's Spirit directing the organization when it taught that the earth was only 56,000 years old and that humans and dinosaurs lived side by side before Noah's flood? Or was Jehovah's Spirit only present when it directed the organization to abandon those teachings? Did the Spirit direct the organization when vaccines were prohibited to Jehovah's people, or when the ban was lifted? Or was the Spirit directing the organization at both times, but in opposite directions? In 1938, when the organization told followers not to get married or have children because the end of the system was at hand, was Jehovah's Spirit unaware that the system would go on long enough for those same people to have progenited great-great-grandchildren? When did the Spirit direct the organization to teach that Hitler was the wicked king of the North prophesied in Daniel? When did the Spirit of Jehovah change its mind and decide that the king of the North was the Soviet Union? Was the Spirit unaware that both Hitler and the Soviet Union would fall decades before they fulfilled the prophesied role of the king of the North? Was Jehovah's Spirit only joking when it directed the organization to teach that the Great Pyramid of Egypt was Jehovah's Bible in stone? Why did the Spirit decide in 1928 that the joke wasn't funny anymore? By the Watchtower's meandering and retrograde teachings, you cannot defend your claim that you are Jehovah's Spirit-directed organization, especially since your foundational teaching, the center of all your theology, 1914, is unsupported by the Scriptures, by history, and by the Watchtower's own exhausted deadline. Given these truths, there is only one honorable course that you, the members of the Watchtower's governing body, can take. You must disband this religion. Go through the legal steps necessary to dissolve the corporation. Make arrangements with the proper secular authorities and courts to use the society's assets to settle all outstanding legal cases. Pay restitution to your most harmed victims and release all members of their obligations to the organization. Let them go their own way according to their own consciences as free agents. Wish them well on wherever their endeavors take them, and then you, the members of the governing body, who have trod the same path as I and many others, from misguided children of misguided adults, who labored as slaves under mental entrapment, and finally, who have broken free to independence in thought and spirit. You may then walk as men of integrity and do no more harm.